welcome to episode 8 of AmusementSparks. This is the casual theme park design show, and my guest for today is a relatively old friend of mine named Will. We used to work together at a retail store. It was pretty awesome. And so, Will, what have you been up to recently?
Currently still working retail at Kroger. Does that count as retail? It's a grocery store.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I do the Will West show on YouTube. I talk about movies, nerdy topics, Netflix shows, pretty much anything nerdy, Star Wars, comic book movies. I tackle it. At least I try to. Yeah,
that YouTube channel is pretty awesome, and like that's something that I've always been like borderline interested in doing. But like you're doing it really well for someone who's like relatively new to the game.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm kind of been stagnant a couple of weeks, so who knows? Maybe this will spark some interest with AmusementSparks over here.
Ooh, there you go.
Are we allowed to cuss on this? I just
you can cuss, but I will censor it. But I kind of like that challenge, so yeah, feel free, feel at ease, feel comfortable.
Just figured I'd ask. I mean, everybody asks that on podcasts nowadays,
right? So. And it's kind of weird how many podcasts are like not family friendly, like just cuss for like no apparent reason. Like, I mean, sure, it can like make jokes funnier or something, but I don't know that it really adds that much. I do think it makes people maybe more comfortable during the interview if they're allowed to like say whatever comes to mind, and that's cool, and I respect that and like freedom of speech and everything. But like, I don't know, you eliminate your audience in that situation. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's some pros and cons, I suppose. I do this new kind of like warm-up game that's just a quick like brainstorming exercise. It's like just for fun and to get the juices flowing a little bit. And basically, yeah, it's fun. It shouldn't be too hardcore or anything, but I have a list of toy-related adjectives and then a list of like types of toys, and I do a random generator to come up with a pairing, and then we have to like try to talk about what that would be like or how that would be a thing.
Oh my God, I'm loving this already.
It's called the Toynado, tentatively, but let me get my random number generated here. Wow, this is a weird one. It is
I'm nervous.
An audio recording yo-yo. so shoot, try to pitch me an audio recording yo-yo.
Okay, so it's a mic, but it's on a yo-yo, and I don't know.
I'm thinking like going with like a mic drop kind of like flavor to it, like if it's kind of shaped like a microphone, it'd be kind of funny if you like do a mic drop and then it just like rolls back up like you're walking the dog.
That's even cooler. You're more creative than me, buddy.
Well, it's a weird pairing. Like that's a very random combination, because you usually don't want your microphone like flying around through the air because you're going to get all kinds of like bad microphone sounds. So that is a weird one.
I know.
Another thing I thought about was like, did you ever have a yak back when you were a kid? Like, did you grow up with that toy?
The yak back?
Yeah.
No, I was more of I had the talk boy from Home Alone.
Oh, nice.
The credit card, you got it. That thing.
Yeah, that was a cool plot device in that story. So yak back, similar, just like little recording device where you can either play back the audio like in slow motion or fast motion or whatever. That was really popular when I was in elementary school. But like, yak back, as in like the audio gets played back to you. It could kind of be like a yo-yo where it like goes away from you and then comes back to you. So I don't know. There's some like similarities there, but I don't know if it makes a cool toy. It seems like kind of a weird one.
It doesn't. I think you'd see that at the dollar store. They're still trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, because like. I mean, if you're like recording yourself, singing the song or whatever while you're playing with it, you're just going to sound like you're far away from the mic, and then you're close, and then you're far away, and then you're close. It's just going to be annoying to listen to.
Right.
I don't know if I would buy one necessarily, but I think we've done all we can with that that pairing. Let's do.
I wish it was something cooler. I'd be joking around more with it.
Right. Let's try another one. I usually do 2 per episode. Okay, it is the adjective is grows with you, so it's supposed to like change its use as you get older, which is really kind of weird. But it's a juggling set. Okay. So a juggling set that grows with you. So what can you do with a juggling set before you're old enough to actually juggle?
Swallow it. You're a baby.
It's edible. It could be like a teething thing, I suppose. Like you're supposed to chew on it and it like makes your teeth pop out of your gums or whatever that's supposed to do. Or it could be like building blocks, like, alphabet blocks, and then when you get older, you just juggle it. part of the
struggles. It's almost like those little Russian dolls. You just keep splitting them up and then start tossing them.
Yeah, you can stack them inside.
As your skill level improves with your age, you just go.
And maybe they open and there's smaller ones inside of them. So like, I don't know what you would do with that, but you could do something with that mechanism where you have really small pieces. So if you want a bunch of them, you can open them all up and take all the little ones out of it, and you've got a bunch of different size pieces. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, juggling pieces, like, I'm sure the professionals use specific like brands or whatever, but generally you just need things that are the same size, right? So
usually
there's not that much like super unique about a juggleable item. It's like It's just a thing that's the same size as the other things. So that one kind of sucks too.
Yeah, this is hilarious that this item came up because I got the Power Rangers season 1 and 2 box set
nice.
the other day.
Yeah,
under $20. I was like, even though I want the huge box set that has all of them, I was like, I gotta buy this.
Oh yeah,
and we got to the clowning episode, and Billy just like totally cuts off Trini's little cousin just so he can juggle, and he's terrible at it.
That's awesome.
You need to watch No Clowning Around on Netflix.
Okay,
that's my recommendation episode of Power Rangers that everyone needs to watch to see if it aged well, and it did not. It's so bad, but like in a good way.
That show is very, very 90s, and like even within the show, they talk about like how 90s certain things are. Like that's one of like Kimberly's phrases for like this thing is really cool. Is like, oh, that's so 90s. It's awesome.
Oh, this is so more
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Oh, heck yeah. I've been watching that show a lot because, I love the series. I've always been a fan of Power Rangers and Super Sentai. And since the movie came out, I was like, I need more. And the comics are really great. And that's like satisfying a certain
I love the comics.
Dude, yes.
Have you read Justice League Power Rangers?
It's a really cool pairing, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't think Zed and Brainiac were a good pairing, but I thought maybe he would team up with Darkseid, but the Justice League has been fighting Darkseid a lot lately, so maybe I could understand why they switched villains up. But besides that, it's kind of funny. Because another episode, the Black Knight episode, Ernie brings up Batman. So Batman exists in their universe, technically.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, Power Rangers are going to do for Angel Grove what Batman did to Gotham. I'm like, oh my god, Batman's real. He's canon.
I love that. That's really cool.
I can nerd out about Power Rangers forever.
Me too.
But this isn't a Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a Power Rangers themed theme park at some point. That'd be really awesome, but I just haven't found the right guest yet. That's one of the things that's been with me always. Like Power Rangers, Pokemon, there's very few things that come above that as far as like what's had an influence on me as a fan, and then also as like someone who likes to write stories. They're almost always Pokemon inspired or Power Rangers inspired. Like there's either giant robots or like collectible monsters of some kind. They're always there. I've got one more thing coming out of the Toynado generator over here, and this is a QR code model kit. For the listener, if anyone doesn't know what a QR code is, it's like a little black and white thing. It kind of looks like a really like pixelated barcode almost. It's just a black and white field that you can scan with your smartphone or whatever device, and it will take you to a specific website. Mm-hmm. So if we try to think about like a model kit that would use that, the easiest one would be put the directions online, or like if it's you can build it multiple ways. You could include like the alternative instructions online and include the basic ones in the box. So I don't know if that really adds that much to it.
Or that could be just a way to make things... It could be a thing just to make things more green, just like you said. Like it just take you to a website.
Oh, that's cool.
Wasting
instead
paper
of a
and
paper
stuff. That's the only thing I can think of to add to your point.
No, I like that a lot. That's really cool. You could also do like maybe once you've built it, you're supposed to scan the QR code and it takes you to a like really cool 3-dimensional rendering of your build, like rotating around. So it's like it shows you what your creation looks like in really high quality computer generated graphics or something.
It could almost be like Star Wars Card Trader. Just you can show off your actual collection and your digital collection. And Pokemon actually does this too. They have the QR codes that you scan. You can get Pokemon booster packs online as well for free.
Heck yeah, man! I exclusively play online these days because the Pokemon trading card game is awesome, and the online version is so great. It's so easy to play for free. Like I haven't put any money into that thing. I've bought a few booster packs in real life, and just when I do that, I get the cards in the game too. So it's great. I love the way they're keeping that community going online for those of us who aren't of like organized play age or aren't serious enough at it to like go to actual tournaments and stuff. You can still play online whenever you want to, 24/7 against real people. The internet's great.
And we don't have to wait for a trading card game sequel to come out for the 3DS at all. We don't have to wait for that. We can just go online. Man. That's a sequel.
Yeah, somehow I still really want that to happen though, because the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color was so awesome, where you get to like actually walk around the world like a regular Pokemon game, but instead of battling your Pokemon, you play a Pokemon trading card game. I freaking love that game. It's probably my favorite Game Boy Color game.
Even more than Pokemon Silver and Gold?
Honestly, yeah, because Silver and Gold, like after so many generations of the standard like main series Pokemon games, like they all blend together. And I don't necessarily need every single generation anymore. You know, I can let go on some of them. But whatever is going to happen on the Switch, like that Pokemon game is probably going to be incredible. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, there was rumors that it would be Pokemon Stars. That's what early nerds are saying, but I think that's just people grasping at straws since Sun and Moon are both in space. I don't know. People are just crazy. That's a silly theory. If
you have to have a third game in that series, though, that's a really cool combination, like the Sun, Moon, and Stars. That sounds awesome. I like that theory. I hadn't heard that one.
Or Pokemon Eclipse. Pokemon Eclipse could be another one.
Whoa. Dude.
Whoa, blowing everyone's mind right now.
Yeah, that's really awesome, too. Wow, I love that. Yeah. Excellent. Well, cool. So thank you for participating in the Tornado. I know that's like a little bit of a curveball. It's supposed to, get the juices flowing and get us ready to design a theme park, which is what we're all here for, right?
Right. Trying to.
So when I asked you if you had any interest in designing a theme park, you definitely said yes. And when you picked a topic, what did you choose?
I picked Yu-Gi-Oh because they have been begging for a theme park, even in like all their seasons, and it would be called Kaiba Land.
Exactly. They've referenced having a theme park in almost every series of both the manga and the anime. Like lots of discussion of Kaiba Land. And this comes from Seto Kaiba. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Seto Kaiba. I mean, don't get mad. I'm not going to get mad about it, but other anime... if you have any anime fan listeners, they might get mad about it.
So Seto Kaiba is a character in Yu-Gi-Oh! And he...
he's essentially Batman, but instead of using his money for good, he uses it to play card games and design jets that look like Blue Eyes White Dragons, and also another good thing, he makes hollow projection things to actually play duel monsters on, because everything in their infrastructure revolves around duel monsters. Like everyone has jobs revolving around it. Game shops are actually a big deal. I mean, in our world, there's only like maybe an aisle or two, or if there's specific little tiny shops, they're not as big and bold as in Yu-Gi-Oh, where the game stores could like range from being as big as a Walmart. It's ridiculous.
It is a little over the top. The whole world of Yu-Gi-Oh is basically centered around gaming. Like it's all about, there's the card game which is called Yu-Gi-Oh in our reality, but in their world it's called, I think, Duel Masters, and it was originally like Magic.
Duel Monsters, yeah.
Yeah, Duel Monsters, and it was originally like, wasn't it called Magic and Wizards or something? I think in the original manga that I read in Shonen Jump back in the day, it was like they called it something else like that. Which I'm
you got bigger deep cuts than me, man.
Well, I was really into Shonen Jump, like when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, that
That's
era.
That's the time I was into it too. So,
oh man, I kind of miss it. Like I miss those days. I really like the. I mean, not only the art style, but just generally the storytelling is very much geared towards that young, like preteen, teenage mindset of like everything's an adventure, and like you can be the best at anything, even if you are like a nerd and you get picked on, like, but
only if you have a Millennium item.
Right, you have to have the rarest, most expensive things.
It's time
the guy who created Yu-Gi-Oh, which I didn't realize the manga first started being printed in like 1996, so the same year that Pocket Monsters came out in Japan, which is kind of crazy. But like,
very crazy.
Didn't know that. He wanted to make like a horror story, but he decided that he like the themes he kept going back to were kind of game based, because he didn't want it to be too violent. So basically, if you try to make a kind of horror inspired game-based story, it ends up being something kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's a lot of like allusions to kind of like dark, scary imagery, and there's a lot of like very high-stakes situations, just like in a horror film. But almost everything comes back to let's settle this with a game, or the loser of this game has this, horrible punishment they have to go through.
There was actually another season of Yu-Gi-Oh that we didn't get. It's titled Season 0 that kind of like was super dark, and like the Pharaoh and Yugi would actually kill people in these games of chance. Yeah, there was one where I don't know exactly what the Pharaoh did, but like he caught this guy on fire while he was like pouring this drink on him. He more or less killed a guy and caught him on fire. He's like, oh hey, like I tricked you into doing this. You just killed yourself. Bye bye. Like it was pretty dark. And there's been even more stuff. Like they allude to it in flashbacks and make it like they censor it for like kids and stuff in the season 1 that we got.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. So I've been a like Pokemon nerd, just hardcore so much that like.
I love them all, dude. I love them all.
Yeah, absolutely. And me too. I really love that genre of, that whole thing, the whole Shonen Jump kind of thing. Like just adventure stories and like and competition stories, that kind of thing. Like pretty much the whole manga like scene in general. Really, it's a lot of those kinds of stories, and I really appreciate those. But when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, I got a little bit into the card game because I've always been a card game player.
Oh, I was stoked when they finally brought the card games out. But when Walden Books finally got the starter decks, I'm like, oh, are those real? Is that a real thing? Like, yeah. I was like, oh, screw Harry Potter. I want that.
Yeah, man. It was kind of a game changer. And I do think it was a good competitor for Harry Potter. It was a lot kind of, darker and more, more interesting to me, more mysterious. Because in Harry Potter, the magic doesn't seem that dangerous necessarily. I mean, there's always villains around, but there's also so many other people who can use magic for good. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh,
there's actually a trading card game of that too. Sorry if I'm talking.
Oh, really? Huh. I didn't know that. There's a trading card game of Harry Potter.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast released it.
Wizards of the Coast. So when you were talking about the Pharaoh being with Yugi, well, first of all, I guess for the listener, if anyone's not super familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, the main character of the original series name is Yugi.
Yeah, he solved this thing called the Millennium Puzzle that he put together, like ancient Egyptian Legos is what I'll call it, just to be simplified here. And since he solved that, he freed this ancient pharaoh who you see all these monsters away. And every time like he's in a deep bind or there's someone's challenging him or like picking on Yugi, the pharaoh would come and say, "Oh hey, like not so fast," and he would grow 5 inches taller than he actually is.
It looks like Yugi has the same hair and everything. He just looks a little scarier. Like the art style just ages him up and makes him look a little scarier, darker. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like part of the main thing is that this kind of normal nice kid Yugi can like basically turn into like a total like master of games when he needs to. He can like summon this kind of pharaoh like dark power thing to kind of transform him into something that's even more powerful and more of a winner at games and stuff. Mm-hmm. I did not watch much of the TV show growing up at all. Like I didn't really know the story. I read a little bit of the manga, a little bit, but not much as far as
I watched it way too much.
Yeah, really. So that's good. Yeah. It's good that you've got the experience with like what actually is in Kaiba Land because I never saw any of those episodes. So for prepping for this podcast, I did some research and stuff, and it didn't seem like there was a ton to Kaiba Land. It's like, well, what if this teenage like super wealthy guy bought a theme park? It seemed like a lot of the things he put into that park were designed to kind of test Yugi or to battle against Yugi or get revenge against this guy. So it's almost like an elaborate like prank.
Yeah, he's like if Gary Oak had even more money. I'm sure Gary Oak comes from money.
Right, that's a good.
If Gary Oak had money and Brock's voice, that's what you would have. You would have Seto Kaiba.
You were talking about the like technology that he has to make like holograms that you can like actually interact with, and I guess in the series they call that solid vision, or in some series they call it AR vision, where it's like just augmented reality.
Yeah, that's the season I didn't really watch. Is Zexal, the fourth one. They have these things that look like scouters from Dragon Ball Z that help them see all the duel monsters out there. I thought that's a cool concept.
I think so
bring
too.
That to real life.
And if you're going to be doing like big holograms, like if that's going to be a big part of it, is like being able to see these big monsters and interact with them. I think that having a cool like themed, what's they called 3D like viewer. It'd be really cool if it like makes sense and fits in with the canon of the story, which it does with the it's called the D Gazer, I think, or Dual Gazer from that one specific series. So that'd be kind of cool if they all had those available, people could put on.